It's like you can't have one without the other, you know? Like I'm equal parts God and the devil. A cloak of shame covers this man, and only supreme light will wash my body clean. But how could that light possibly reach me with the thick clouds of indecency that surround my poor soul? So I carry my wrongdoings on my back like some kind of tormented hiker, lost in the hills of misfortune, looking desperately for that peak to rescue him from the valley of depraved habitual self-pleasuring. But again, I find nothing except for sweaty, devastated loneliness and 1,000 judging eyes staring back at me from the cover of a stolen Victoria's Secret catalog. I didn't take your mail, Mrs. Pemberton. Stop asking me that. Leave me alone! Oh no? Satan's pretty cool.
Hey, thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today I'm going to do a review of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which is the third film, and I guess final film, to make it a trilogy in the Conjuring series. Now, me and my family, we're big fans of the Conjuring movies, and of course we all got together and sat down and watched it right on the first weekend it was available on HBO, and I have to say, disappointing. If my one word review would be disappointing, because the first couple of Conjuring movies, man, to me they were pretty damn freaky, man. They were weird. This movie here just really isn't scary. It's not. It feels like a studio movie. And the other ones, even though they were studio movies, they felt a little bit more independent. Very, very well done. Look, this movie, of course, it's a very well done movie, well acted movie, all that stuff. But it's almost like they started running out of ideas. And by the way, there's going to be spoilers in this thing. One of my big problems with this movie, as far as it not being scary enough, is, you got to have a proper villain to be frightened of, right? The first one, you had the witch, right? The second one, you had the nun, all right, which was this demon. I mean, just take a look at this bitch. All right, this is a freaky, freaky bitch. That's something to be scared of. Even the damn painting. All right, if I was a kid and saw this, man, I'd have freaking nightmares. But what do we get? We get this. All right, this isn't scary to me. All right, this is like bad CGI. It's not even bad. It just it reminds me of Constantine, Keanu Reeves movie that was done several years back, in which, people were being possessed by whatever demons, and they were contorting and all this kind of stuff. But that was the feel of it. And Constantine was a great movie. I really enjoy it. It just wasn't scary or anything. And there was a lot of things lacking in this movie, and that's one of them. If I want to see Constantine, I'll watch Constantine. I don't need to see this thing. So look, even the witch, was a little bit freaky, especially in that scene in the basement, right, where an old girl falls through the wall or whatever it was, and the witch's legs are coming down, they're kind of turning, and you hear the rope twisting. I mean, that was a freaky ass scene, man. It was hard for me to get over it, man. It was just weird, and it just gave you chills. No, the villain in this, they go from the witch, then they go to the nun, all right, both of them will give you nightmares, to some bitch in a cave. It did nothing for me, all right? Like I said, that was one of the biggest problems. You really needed to amp things up, right? Because the first Conjuring was a witch. Sure, she was probably a devil worshiper, but it was a witch. And the second one, you actually had to deal with a real demon, which, was horrifying. For the third one and the final one, you really had to ramp it up a little bit more. How do you do that? Well, it's in the title. You see that? The devil made me do it. The devil. We needed the devil. All right. You can disagree with that if you want. Fair enough. But would you rather have the devil or this wafy, pale, needs some vitamin D badly woman who's some devil worshiper? Here's the whole thing, right? She's conjuring up these demons, right? So she's putting a curse on people so that they get possessed. All right, it was just it was just so damn weak. All right, because they were saying throughout, you know, the early parts of the movie, before they figured out it was some bitch in the cave screwing with everybody, that they really needed, you know, that this was different, right? That it was something a little bit more powerful that they dealt with before. And I'm like, really? It gets to this? To this? This is what's so powerful and screwing with people and it's so hard to defeat? It did, and like I said, it did nothing for me. But if you were to tell me that it was the actual devil and you didn't need some dude in a red suit, you know, with a pitchfork and a pointy tail, no, you don't even have to show the devil. Just put it, you know, he's possessing somebody or kind of off in a dark space, like, oh no, we're actually fighting Satan here. It would have just upped the stakes for the third and final chapter of this great series. And to me, it just felt like, you know, they picked a really bad villain, and it just kind of sucked. Here's the thing: in the original two, right? It was more of a haunted house type style movie, right? Which is great. Didn't mind, even though that's not my favorite. Really, overall, the horror genre, I'm not big on the horror genre because most horror movies suck balls. They're bad movies. But when they're done well, you know, regardless of the budget, you know, they could be really, really good. And but the horror, the haunted house horror stuff, you know, that genre of horror, the haunted house stuff, I really don't like much. But The Conjuring really surprised me and was really good at that. So here they wanted to do something a little different, try to get away from the haunted house thing, and they made it more of a demon possession movie, which again brings you back to it feeling more like a Constantine flick, you know, than a Conjuring movie. Now the Warrens, of course, they're back, and you know, look, I love these people. They're great in these roles. And, you know, so many horror movies, once you get around to the third one, you know, none of the original cast is left. They did a really good job of bringing, you know, even a lot of the side people back. That was really, you know, I appreciated that. I just feel that a lot of that was wasted. Like they wanted to give you some backstory of the Warrens, like how they fell in love and how they, you know, how they met, that whole deal. And I appreciated that. I thought that was pretty good fan service. Again, that's some fan service you normally wouldn't get in a horror movie. That's why I appreciated it. But again, the villain was just so annoying, more of a pain in the ass than something to be scared of. And really, this movie was supposed to, you know, I thought it was going to be more, you know, you have more courtroom drama type stuff going on. They didn't do that. You only got one courtroom scene. And it's like the Warrens themselves are being attacked by this bitch in a cave, right? As they're trying to prove some dude's innocence who killed somebody, but he killed somebody because he was, you know, possessed by a demon. And you didn't get any of the demons' names, and the look of the demons were not, you know, like I said, it was very Constantine-like. And it's just the originality, really, with this movie, like the other two, it just wasn't there. I mean, if you just look at this picture, I mean, that looks like, you know, something out of The Exorcist. And maybe it was a callback. Maybe they're paying homage. I don't know. But, you know, it was a lot of that, you know. Maybe they didn't really do anything new to really pull you in. And to me, what would have, you know, you could pay homage to, you know, to The Exorcist. Or, you know, okay, if some things look like Constantine. But I think if you would have brought in the devil as the villain, like I said, that would have really have helped up the stakes of the movie and made it far more entertaining and far more suspenseful than it actually ended up being. Overall, I mean, look, the trilogy is great because the first two movies are so damn good. Even though this one isn't great, I'm glad I saw it. It's just, you know, it was disappointing, sure, Still a quality flick. It's still worth watching one time through. It's not something I'm going to rewatch. Like, I've seen the first one probably half a dozen times. I've seen the second one at least 2 or 3 times. I'm never going to watch this one again because it's just not worth my time to watch it again. I'm glad I saw it once, but that's kind of enough. Anyway, that's all I got for The Conjuring and the lack of the devil who seemed to make somebody do it. And I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.